those who just discovered our podcast, and welcome back for those who already following us for a while. We've been on the air already for a year and a half, and we go live on Thursdays at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. And we are talking here about everything about diabetes. So let's go. All right. Again, hello everybody. This is Irina Strunina. This is our podcast, Diabetically Speaking with SmartMove360. We go live every Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, and I'm inviting different guests who are working with people with diabetes. We have hosted here the doctors, nurses, we had dietitians and insurance brokers and personal trainers and life coaches. And on the last Thursday of every month, we have our special Warrior Edition, where I am inviting people who have diabetes and they are sharing their stories. So if you think that you would like to share your story, please reach out to me. If you know of someone who you think will be a good guest, please talk to that person and again reach out to me and we will schedule that. And everybody very inspired by listening to the stories that other people are experiencing. So with that, I would like to move on to our today's show. And today I have a special guest, Melissa Ortiz. She is a registered dietitian. And please, Melissa, introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself so we will know more about you and what we can reach you out for.
Oh, yeah, great. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here. Yes, my name is Melissa Ortiz, and I am a registered dietitian. I practice more functional nutrition. In the past, maybe 3 years, I've been leaning more towards functional nutrition, and that's just more looking more at nutrition and our health, going down to the root cause. And I really love that approach, and I wish it was taught to me in school, but it's something I've discovered later. I've been in practice as a dietitian for a little over 10 years, and I have experience with working with people from all the way in the hospital to clinics to wellness centers and dialysis centers. So, not any one of those places have I not seen somebody with diabetes. And I also have family members very close to me who also suffer from diabetes. And so it's always been a passion of mine to really help prevent the progression of diabetes and also to help people reverse it. And so that's just kind of what my business is about, really helping with diabetes prevention and reversal. I also help with a bunch of other things because I just love to help when it comes to nutrition, but diabetes is my jam.
Absolutely. Well, the statistics that we look at in different research centers, they are saying that pretty much like every third person is either diabetic or has the pre-diabetes. So it's pretty safe to say that in a group of 100 people, probably 30 of them somehow have this diagnosis in one
Mhm.
way, in one form or another. So uh, it is global. This is pandemic here that for whatever reason the mainstream media is not screaming about. There is a lot of different medical professionals who are passionate about changing this situation, but I believe that the main thing that we need to provide is information and education. And when people, if they have it or not, informed and know what it is and how it works and where it comes from, we have we will have much better chances to stop this pandemic. And
Mhm.
hopefully, it's never hurts to dream, right? And hopefully
Mhm.
reverse the situation in the world
Yeah.
and make it slowing down.
Yeah. That's my
So
dream too.
yes, and on this, with this thought in mind, let's talk about importance of self-care.
Okay.
And you just said about prevention. You just said that you're passionate about helping people to reverse their diagnosis. So, why do you think the care is so important for diabetics?
Self-care. Oh, I wanna say it's we all know it's important for everybody, because, of course, we want to prevent, right, disease and all that, but if we're specifically speaking for somebody with diabetes, there's a lot of progression that happens with diabetes, right? We know that there's weight gain that's usual with, diabetes, and for a lot of people, they're unaware of they feel like, "Oh, well, I've had it for so many years and I feel fine," or
Mm-hmm.
nothing has happened to me, like they haven't seen the amputations happen to them or the numbness in their extremities. So they still feel fine and that's what they're used to. So they're not practicing self-care. They're not really, taking that moment every day to practice the things that we need to do to prevent progression. And
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to like diabetes and heart disease or having high blood pressure, these are silent killers.
Yes.
And a lot of people will end up on dialysis or having kidney disease, which leads to being on dialysis. And then that's when, unfortunately, I've worked in that field, so I've seen it how people are like beating themselves up for not practicing self care before that. So, yeah, I hate to go down so dark so quickly, but it's the reality. We want to practice self-care to prevent the progression of the disease and to be able to hopefully be at a point where if we caught you earlier enough, we can also help reverse some of that. And that's a beautiful feeling too when we're able to get off medications and not have to be on a diet and something that's so restrictive, and we can still enjoy life.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you. A lot of times people, I would say not 100%, but very close to 100% people who got diagnosed with type 2 diabetes.
Mhm.
It didn't happen overnight.
Mm-mm.
They say I got diabetes 2 weeks ago or a month ago, but this is not accurate. I
Mm.
think they just don't know yet. But
Mhm.
the idea that diabetes is a slowly progressing disease, just like you said, and it's not anything that we can really pinpoint. It's just everything that is happening slowly. If we don't move enough, if we allow ourselves to eat a lot of stuff that our parents told us don't eat that,
Mhm.
right? If we maybe working stressful jobs and don't know how to manage that stress,
Mhm.
if we don't sleep enough, if we leave the unhealthy, in unhealthy relationships, it's all can contribute to progression of this disease, but
Yes.
not overnight. It's
Mm.
accumulates,
Mhm.
accumulates, accumulates,
Mm.
and before even blood sugar will show, the doctor is not often measuring it, but insulin resistance will start showing up first, and then pre-diabetes will show up, and then if you continue not doing anything, not changing anything, then you get the diabetes. So it's a long way until you'll get this diagnosis, right?
Mhm. Yeah, and then once you have it, it's, like, so hard to get that reversal that people that we want to experience it, and we've heard other people having that opportunity, and it's like, "Why is it not happening fast enough for me?" It's like, "Well, you
Hmm.
probably have had this going on for 5, 10 years." So there's a
Exactly.
lot of damage, there's a lot of habits and things that need to be changed to help get back.
That's right. That's right. So the I like to repeat this phrase that is you probably have heard it as well, that diabetes, this is not a sprint, this is a
Oh,
marathon, and
right.
it's a lifelong marathon.
Yeah.
In my personal opinion, everything depends with which attitude you take it, right?
Mm, mhm,
So can you talk a little bit because I can talk about it a lot, but I invited you to talk. So can you
mhm.
please explore this part here a little bit about the attitude towards the self-care and how it attributes the overall health condition for people with diabetes?
Oh, sure. And I feel like this can branch off into different avenues, but I feel I'm gonna just kind of put a scenario. I help
Mhm.
a lot of women who are moms, who are working professionals, very busy, and so they're in their view, they have to take care of everybody else,
Yes.
and then we fall last as mom, we fall last as wife and caregiver, household and all that. So um, to be able to I think I'm kind of losing track of what your question was. Can you repeat your question again with the self-care?
Well, we're talking about the self-care and it's a marathon
The
that we
marathon part,
to pay
exactly.
attention to.
Yeah, if we don't slow down, right, to keep a certain pace, then that's where we're gonna have issues. And particularly as something that I talk about a lot with my moms is stress. So, and it can be even stressful to even hear that because it's like we can't get rid of stress. Stress is always going to be with us. It's environmental, it's emotional, it's physical, different ways that can affect us on a daily basis. And so being able to slow down on this marathon of life, right? Not just because we have a disease, but it's just a life in general, and be able to really look into ourselves first, so that we can then, help others. And that's kind of like one of the main things I help a lot with my clients is definitely slowing down that marathon.
Yes. Well, you see, if you take the right now Olympics going on, so let's talk about
Mm,
sports. Um, the if you are a marathon runner, you have to reserve some of your energy to complete the race.
right.
If you pull everything out in the first couple of miles, you will not last the entire
Exactly.
destination. So this is important, and
Hmm.
sometimes you really do need to allow yourself to slow down a little bit, to let your body get adjusted to
Right.
the changes that you just created. You've been walking, now you are running, let's adjust to that. You've been
Hmm.
running with that speed, let's adjust to that. Not always push push push, because if we don't let ourselves to a little bit adjust to the change, it's really becoming not a long distance destination. It shortens.
Absolutely. Well, and to add to that, also, being able to slow down and know that you are using up a lot of your energy, and then we need to replenish, right? So
Hmm.
it's
Yes,
also a lot of replenishment, and replenishment, not just with water and just food, but also mentally, right? So throughout
exactly.
the whole day, you're putting out, information, and you're working, and you're answering questions and doing all these things, but what are you putting in? Putting into,
Yes.
yeah, into your mind as well. So we got to think about nourishment and also our mental aspect of things, being able to slow everything down and replenish.
Absolutely. Yes, I didn't think, we are talking a lot here on the show and in our different meetings about the feeding your body. And you're right, water, nutrients, everything is important, but the this importance of feeding your emotional
Mhm,
being also is important. And
mhm.
hey, today is Thursday, and on Thursdays I usually have my morning talk that is called Thankful Thursdays,
Nice.
and I am always inviting people exactly. This is funny, to slow down and look for positive, what good happened,
Yeah.
because it's easy to find what bad happened, but what good happened, and
Mhm.
just enjoy and celebrate, or I don't know, uh, just think about how good it is to achieve something, or that you met someone who brought the smile
Mhm.
on your face, or you know, it's so good that I can hear, and I've heard this bird, or those wind, or whatever it is.
Mhm.
It's very important, right?
I love that. I love that. Absolutely. I think it's so important to again, that's just part of slowing down, and we're putting out so much information. So what can we kind of calm down and bring in and be like, okay, what can I receive?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and just and practice that with your family too, with the kids. Like I think a lot of kids are looking for answers. They're learning and trying to ask all these questions, but also give them information that fills up their cup too.
Yes, definitely, definitely. Well, I didn't expect our conversation go this way, but I'm glad it did.
Nice. Yeah,
Okay, let's talk about little, since you're working with your clients, and you helping them uh, to manage their stress, to manage their conditions and things. What will be your tips for people who say, again, talking about scenarios? So, someone got this phone call or text message or email from the doctor's office saying your latest blood work showed that you have diabetes. Your
Mhm.
prescription is in the pharmacy. Contact the office to schedule the follow up in 3 months. No
Mm,
instruction, no nothing. Person is left in disbelief. I cannot believe it's happening to me.
right,
Uh, I Are they sure that looking at at my chart, maybe this is
right.
mistake? So, and then they got the confirmation, yes, this is you, this is your chart. When is a good time for you in 3 months? So still
Mhm.
no instructions. What you will recommend those people who did not get much information, who didn't get much directions? They are totally in denial, maybe, or
Mhm.
anxious, or scared, and
Absolutely.
grieving their life that they used to live. What will be your recommendation for people, how they can kind of get a grip, and start calming down and start making changes?
Oh, that's such a good question because that happens so much. So many people, being told, "Oh yeah, you have diabetes, by the way," and it's just like, "Here, take this pill. Good luck."
Mhm.
So that is actually part of self-care tips that I actually advocate or push a lot with my clients, and that is to be a really good. And if you're not good at it, try to get good at it. Be a good self advocate for yourself. And by that, it's like expanding your care team. So yeah, we all have our primary care physician, and maybe you have the pharmacy that you go to, and for a lot of people, that's about it. But really, does your primary care physician truly care about you? Does
Mhm.
they And we know that doctors' times are limited. I understand that myself. I've been to my doctor, and I know sometimes a short time. But can you expand your care further so that other people can fill in those gaps? So, if you really need help with managing your diabetes, and I would say the first thing we need to do is to write questions. Write all your questions down, get them out of your head, because when you're sitting in front of your doctor, it's so hard to be like, well, I have all these questions, and doctor only has like 10 minutes, and then they're out the window. So if your doctor can't answer your questions, can you like firsthand say, hey doc, I have these questions, I need them answered, can you, or send me guidance, who can help me with answering this to get me further, set up with what are my next steps. Hopefully the nurse can sit down with you, or a nurse practitioner. From there, I would say move to somebody who's a diabetes specialist. So there are
Mhm.
dietitians and nurses, doctors, and so on that do specialize in diabetes, who can actually spend more time with you because that's what they're billing for. They're billing for
Yeah.
diabetes management, so they can spend more time with you on that, and they're more specialized in it. And then again, always come with questions, because we want to get that set up. And by expanding your care, when you're being a self advocate, expanding your care is also getting talk therapy. So, is there somebody that you can talk to? This could be a therapist, it could be some other type of professional, or maybe even a support group. Like your group in Facebook is fabulous. Like I see, so many times people come in, hey, I guess just got diagnosed. What do you guys do for, whatever, diet or exercise and so on? And so people get to share experiences, which is
Yes.
really helpful for people, especially those who are shy or new or really don't know what to ask. So support groups I think, are really excellent. There's things like, maybe even expanding it further, getting somebody to help you with exercise, right? You don't have to pay for a personal trainer for, I don't know, a whole year, maybe just a couple weeks, learn the ropes, and then, you can move on from there on your own. So yeah, really, I think my first thing for somebody who's coming in, deer in the headlights, is really set yourself up, with good questions so you can set up your team of practitioners that are going to help you through this.
Yes, this is great because you're right. When I go to the doctor, if I did not write down the questions, the whole time, maybe a week or 2 weeks prior to the visit, I recite in my head, I need to ask this, I need to ask that.
Mhm.
And if I didn't write it down, if it only was in my head, I am leaving the office, I get into my car, and I'm like, oh, I forgot to ask about that
Yes.
and this, and
Yeah.
you cannot go back because your time is already up, and they are not taking you. Either you have to wait for a longest while or
Mhm.
create the emergency visit or something. So
Yeah.
this is very important. I
I
agree.
what One more thing I want to add, because I think it's so important, is also mentioning to the provider, whoever it is, like, "Hey, I'm not gonna remember this conversation. I need to record our conversation," and you can ask for that permission to see if you can record the conversation that you guys are
Yes.
having. 'Cause, I'm telling you, you're not gonna remember it. It's so new and,
Uh-huh.
you're in an emotional state that you're probably gonna forget, and you can say that. And
Mhm.
then if they don't allow that, hopefully maybe you can have somebody with you that can take notes,
Yes.
so just to have those options.
Absolutely. This is a good idea. And I do remember we were talking on our healthcare, on our diabetic healthcare expo. One time we had a conversation how kids can contribute uh, to help their parents to
Mhm,
manage their diagnosis.
mhm,
And one of the speakers recommended, well, if kid is old enough, say not the 5 years old, but maybe 11, 12 years old, and they you have reasonable decent relationships with them, enroll them in your team,
mhm,
and ask them to go with you to the doctor's visit and write down all the recommendations the
mhm,
doctor gave you or gave me,
mhm,
because I will be asking questions but I will not have time to write it down. You are so
mhm.
good at taking notes, so you're right, to take someone with you, maybe
Yes.
spouse, somebody, the trusted friend or
Yes.
someone. It's definitely a good idea. I forgot about this. Thank you.
Mhm, mhm.
All right, well, this is the conversation when the name for the podcast is Diabetically Speaking, and we can talk about
Absolutely.
a lot of different topics and directions, because diabetes is a 360 degrees
Mm,
affecting our bodies, our life,
mhm.
and self-care is such an important part that we can talk about it a lot, and
Absolutely.
we are running out of time. So I would like to ask you, what will be, if someone, after listening to our conversation, and they thought that they want to continue talking with you, how
Mm.
people can find you, where they can find you, what will be the best way?
On my website, there's all the contact information. So you can go to mydiabetesnutrition.com.
Okay.
You can see my Facebooks, Instagram, email, whatever suits you best, and you can message me through there.
All right. Perfect. Perfect. Thank you.
No, thank you.
Uh, with that, I would like to move on to a little bit of announcements. So, people who listen to us, we go live into the Facebook group Diabetes 101 for Beginners. And this group is providing information for people who were just diagnosed or who were diagnosed but never took time to learn about diabetes, and now they're got more serious about it. So to help you with that, what we have in the group, we have on Mondays, we have motivational Mondays where our agent of change, Monica Henderson, is talking about some motivational techniques and what can help you to stay on task and helping yourself and do the self-care on a regular basis, right? To help you with that as well, on Tuesdays we have Telenurse Tuesday, where our nurses, the registered nurses, they go online. You can post your questions for them, and they go online, and they for a whole hour in the evening, 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern time, they answer your questions that could be related to interpreting your treatment plan, or maybe making your decision what to do about your care plan, and any kind of questions related to diabetes. This is your time to ask the real registered nurse. Every other Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, we have a support group meeting. It's a Zoom meeting, it's not on the Facebook. You will need to click on a link that I always provide, and we will meet you in a Zoom room where we are getting together people who have diabetes, our admins. Very often we have healthcare providers like registered dietitians, like sometimes they're nurses or personal trainers, depending who is available on that day. And they are open there to answer your questions. If you have any, maybe suggest you something where you could look for information and things like that. Uh, of course, every Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern, we have our Diabetically Speaking with SmartMove360. We go live into SmartMove 360, but also into Diabetes 101 for Beginners group. And every last Thursday, we have Warriors Edition, when our warriors, people who live with diabetes, sharing their experiences, maybe their challenges, maybe their wins, depending on where they are on their journey. So if you feel that people need to know your story and will benefit from it, please reach out to me, and we will make arrangements so you could share your story that may help other people. On Fridays, we have our Trevor Brown with Life-Based Solutions going at 9 a.m. Eastern and perform his Fitness Fridays. These are small talks about some exercises, some physical activities that you can implement easily in your day. So it will help your body to stay healthy, to get in a better shape, and just tune up a little bit, tone up, and you will be much better off with that. Especially sometimes people cannot go to gym. He is showing what you can do at home without leaving your house, using the tools that you already have in your house. All right. One more thing I wanted to say, that on August 31st, this is the last Saturday of August, we will have our next Diabetic Healthcare Expo, where our healthcare providers, caregivers, people who work on a daily basis with people with diabetes will come together and will share their expertise, their experiences with you. It's basically Diabetes 101 crash course. And our guest today, Melissa, will be one of the speakers on that event as well. So block your time on Saturday, August 31st, and come live to our Facebook group. Just be there. Don't need to log in anywhere. Just be in the group and click on the video and watch our show. Last thing I wanted to mention is our sponsors and helpers who help me to go every week in front of you and host those conversations. These are Mink Life Motivation, On Balance Entertainment, Life Based Solutions, and Empower People That Care. These are organizations and people who are helping me to be in front of you. With that, we are wrapping up. Melissa, thank you again one more time for being here with me, talking with me. It's a great conversation. I enjoyed it very much.
Yeah, it was so short. I can't wait to do this again.
All right. Thank you, Melissa. And everyone, see you next week.